Hey guys, this is Andrei, a certified translator and a real estate concierge. We are broadcasting from Minsk, and for the last 3 years I have been relocating people to Belarus. It's an interesting destination of its own, and today we're talking about real estate. Real estate market is showing curious trends over the 8 months now. The month of August has shown record high sales for the months like August. Since the beginning of the year, there has been more deals, by around 1,700 deals, than last year, over the last 8 months, that is. In August this year, there were slightly fewer than 1,800 deals, and in August 2023, there were somewhat over 1,700 deals. So compared to the previous year, there were more sales. Obviously, the smaller properties were dominating the market this month. Single-room properties, we don't do bedrooms, we do rooms. Single-room properties were taking some 40% of the market, and they were followed by two-room flats, roughly accounting for 35% of the market. Three-room, four-room flats were not so successful. The most curious figure is about negotiations, the price push. The discounts have never been so small, roughly 2.5% against the desired price. Desired price of the market doesn't necessarily reflect the deal price, but they are somewhat up. It looks like they have reached some kind of a peak, but there is no drop coming in the near future, and it seems by December this will be the case. This is not my opinion, by the way. The whole thing is like my biased digest of the market headlines, and the market analysts seem to be thinking this way. Curiously enough, a one-room flat, an average one-room flat, roughly 33 square meters large. Normally, living room there is around 17 to 20 square meters large. 2.55 ceilings, but could be higher, of course. Upped in price since January by $7,000. So whoever was shopping in January, anticipating the price peak and the demand peak, was doing the right thing mathematically. Any predictions, including my predictions, based on the smart guys' predictions, failed, and May or any further coming months were not really conducive to the market drop. Did not see any collapse or anything, and it seems like the next collapsing point could be envisioned around December, around New Year, which traditionally is not the most stable point of the year. Speaking about the prices, in Minsk there were over 300 deals over $100,000 worth. So there is some money, it's in the market, and it's also reinforced by the bank loans, which are handsomely, or not so handsomely, to a Western eye, are around 13% a year. And 40% of the deals are roughly going through involving the bank loan money. And that's roughly different amounts, of course, roughly $30,000, $40,000. Per square meter price in Minsk upped by $44 per meter, and in Minsk it exceeded the threshold of $1,500, so it's roughly $1,540 per meter, depending on what property it is, the area and everything, and we'll be filming about the areas further. Newly built apartments were going at the price of roughly $1,630 a meter, and the second-hand ones roughly $100 cheaper. And the trend is there's some 10% of newly built apartments in the city of Minsk. Statistically, reselling some larger apartments requires a larger buyer, so there weren't really too many 4 or 5 room deals, not more than a dozen, and that is a good point for those who wish to invest their money. It's kind of obvious, and it's kind of practical, and it's kind of experience-based that your new acquisition should not be too large if you're not certain of the place and its use and its role in your life long term. It should rather be a one-room flat which could be rented out or sold directly. The plan changes, and in the current rough times, this may be the case quite soon. The most expensive apartment was a newly built place in a somewhat trendy, although not necessarily a perfect residential complex in northern Minsk. It went, an apartment of 115 square meters large, went at $3,300 a meter, and was roughly $380,000. The most expensive house went for roughly $500,000. It was sitting by the Sna water reservoir. It's a kind of a northeastern Minsk located holiday area, recreational area, and currently we're looking for a little house there that could cost $200,000, and to be honest, There are not many options to look at. From these figures and trends, we may conclude the obvious. The demand from the side of the buyers is still there, and there is no really peak or drop or something, but it's quite high, it's increasing, and it may have reached the peak. We'll see that in September, which is kind of a slowdown because school season starts, people go back from holidays, and all the deals they were trying to wrap up before September. The next such peak may occur in December, when people try to shut down the year, so to speak, and make use of the money that they wish to invest this way or the other. This demand is washing away the offers. The demand is getting less and less, let's say, generous. And one of our recent searches, an apartment for an American video, you could see it in just slightly down the timeline of my channel, displays the options for $60,000 are not really that overwhelming. So an alternative market for us is Vitebsk, a major city in northern Belarus, where we are shopping for apartments. Hopefully this is one of the oncoming jobs this week and this month. I'll be sharing videos, of course, where a one-room apartment, something quite decent, may be $330,000 worth. So let's hope that the new videos will be colorful and enjoyable. According to the professionals of the market, it seems like out-of-town provincial properties were short in numbers. People were really demanding to have some properties in all segments, 5 to 50,000, 50 to 100,000 and more. So let's hope our next year's project will fire off and similar houses will be in high demand. Currently, I have 3 assignments from the clients. One guy bought a dacha plot just outside the city of Minsk, and we are going to clean it up and build a nice little barn house out there. A client from an exotic but nice country is coming to shop for a one-room apartment in Vitebsk. It's going to be fun as well. We will put some sample properties that we look at and the pricing for you to be kind of guided by what you can buy for your money, remotely or in person. I'll explain how that works later. And also there is a client in town who wishes to spend some $200,000. We'll be looking at houses, and if it's daytime, we'll try to get some nice pictures for you to see what kind of properties you can get in Minsk for $200,000. If we're talking about houses, there are not many options for that. Thank you very much for staying with the channel. I appreciate your support. You can push the thanks button, or you can become a regular helper, patron of the channel through Patreon or the other website, which is listed down below. It works with PayPal on top of other ways, and it's much less greedy than the YouTube platform that may chip away 30% taxes. The US laws are quite democratic, shall we say, or shall we say far-reaching. Thank you very much for watching the channel. Ask your general questions down below. Any technical questions will be subject to a consultancy, a paid consultancy. It's a paid service. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in Minsk someday. Cheers.